Real esoteric spirituality without all of the fluff, without all of the nonsense. This is the thunderwizard.com YouTube channel. Click subscribe and then hit the little bell button so that you can be notified whenever I've uploaded a video or when I'm doing the live Q&A videos. Hello, Thunder Wizards. All right, so today we're going to be talking about something I've talked about at least once before. We're going to talk about the difference between Qigong and Kundalini Yoga. So, which is more powerful? So, and the reason why we talk about this is because a lot of people, especially people who are new to energy practices, or Westerners especially, who tend to view everything as the same. They tend to lump everything together into one category. People don't know the difference between the energy known as Kundalini and the energy known as Qi. And this in of itself is kind of interesting because the term Kundalini is a yogic term. And in yoga, they also have a word for life force energy, which is called prana. So Qi is prana. Qi is just the Chinese word for life force energy, which the yogis term as prana. So it's interesting that people who are into yoga, and many people who want to have Kundalini awakening, can't tell the difference between Qi and prana. And they can't tell the difference between prana and Kundalini. And this is something that, when a lot of people will say, oh, it's the same thing. Like it's probably still around. You can look it up. There was a practice called Kundalini awakening process, which it was really Qigong is what it was. It was Qigong, and people were doing this kind of Qigong and they were having a lot of experiences. And so the person who created it or synthesized it or whatever, however he discovered it, he started calling it Kundalini awakening. And I would get into, this was a long time ago, but I on a Taoist forum, and I would get into discussions and arguments with people who were these teachers of this Kundalini awakening process, and they'd show the exercises they were doing, and I'd say, that's Qi, that's not Kundalini. And they would say, oh, you don't understand, you haven't done it, and I said, no, I have done it, I know exactly what you're talking about. That is not Kundalini, that is Qi. You're talking about experiences that you're having as a result of Qi, and you're calling it Kundalini, and you guys don't know the difference between Kundalini and Qi. And some of them were yogis, some of them were actually practicing yogis, and so anyway, that's of course, me. I words mean something to me, and there are differences in practices. I don't have any real criticism of the practice. I haven't done it, so I can't really say whether or not it's good or bad, and whatever helps you is fine with me. I just get, I do get kind of anal about, know what you're talking about. Just know what you're talking about. So, in order to understand what we are talking about, we are going to take a look at the centers, the energy centers that are associated with each of these practices. So, since we're talking a lot about Kundalini, Kundalini is associated with the spinal column, the nerves, all of the nerves, because the nerves everywhere in your body, come from these bundles of nerves that sprout out of your spinal column. Your spinal column is the tree of life. The tree of life, the branches of the tree of life are the nerves that come out of your spinal column and go through your whole body. And, they're all bundled up inside of the spinal column. So that's why when people have a broken back, when they break their back, they become paralyzed, is because the nerves, get severed inside. I mean, they're all there. They get severed right there. That's the end of that. So, let's bring that up. So the chakras are these. We're all aware of these. Let's see, how many do they have on there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So the 7 chakras. The 7 chakras on the human body. And now I want to be clear about this because there are some misconceptions about, can you meditate on the chakras? Can you open the chakras and all that kind of stuff? And I'm not saying that you can't. I'm not saying that there's no benefit in meditating on the chakras or postures that are meant to stimulate certain chakras. But the idea that you can open, let's say you're going to decide to open your third eye. You can go on YouTube and there's no shortage of videos of how to know if you've opened your third eye. Do this and open the third eye, as though you just want to open the third eye and leave the rest of the chakras unopened. Doesn't work like that, because Kundalini rises up the spine, and as it rises up the spine, it opens the chakras as it goes. So if you want to open up the third eye chakra, then the thing to do is begin at the root chakra and start opening the chakras from there. But again, it's not like something you're going to be able to do in a weekend. You can't just go to a weekend seminar and open your chakras because somebody played a Tibetan bowl, or they listen to binaural beats that are, you can't. It just doesn't work like that. And Kundalini does have an association with life force energy, which is chi or prana. It does have a connection. Chi can stimulate the Kundalini and vice versa. But they are two different energies. They're not the same thing. Kundalini is, if you go on, I do this on YouTube and I'll just type in Kundalini to see what people say. And, there's no shortage of videos of people saying Kundalini is the life force energy of the universe. No idea what they're talking about. That's not what Kundalini is. Kundalini is the mother. And what does the mother do? The mother brings life into this three-dimensional world. The human mother gives birth. The goddess mother also gives birth. And what does birth do? Birth attaches you to this earth. It attaches you to three-dimensional life. It attaches you to the illusion. This is why one of the goddesses' name, the mother goddess's name, one of her names is Maya, which means illusion. So Kundalini is associated with this illusion. So people who want to escape the illusion through Kundalini don't understand what they're doing. Working with Kundalini will bring you awareness, which then will give you an ability to be freed of the Maya, but it's like understanding the Maya by becoming absorbed in it. And so this is, when people do Kundalini yoga, when they're doing yoga to experience the Kundalini, what they want is to become psychologically conscious by delving into the things that attach them. So that's why it's important to get rid of these ideas, these generalizations of attachment is bad and ascension is good and enlightenment and to be disconnected from reality is good, but to be attached is bad. These generalizations don't serve us, and they don't reflect what we're here to do. So this is Kundalini, and those are the 7 chakras. I won't get into it. I've got a video on that. Again, let me make the appeal to you. If you are new to the channel or if you're interested, please put the time and effort into watching my videos. If you have questions, you can go onto my YouTube channel, the channel page, find out how to do this on your device, but on a desktop, if you go to the channel page, it'll say thunderwizard.com, DOTCOM, and then there will be a little magnifying glass. You click on that, and up will come a search bar, type in chakras, and you'll see all of my videos about chakras. So I'm not going to get into what all the chakras are, other than to say right now that opening of the chakras is about becoming psychologically mature pertaining to what that chakra is about. So there's 7 chakras which relate to 7 dimensions, 7 lokas, as they're talked about. And these lokas are like worlds. They're like the 9 worlds. These are places of these are dimensions of being, and each one of us is in one of these dimensions. Even though we're all walking around on the earth, we are in a certain dimension. So children are in the root chakra, which is why, basically, all babies are eating and pooping and they want to be held. If you don't tighten the blanket around a child so it feels embraced, it gets uncomfortable and it cries because it needs security. It's the root chakra. So when the root chakra becomes fully open, people become secure when it comes to physical things, authority, security. And each one of the other chakras has its own connection, and every time the Kundalini rises and breaks through the Granthi, the knot, and opens that chakra, that person becomes psychologically mature when it comes to whatever that chakra is about. So that's like, again, somebody thinks that being, having, being able to see auras or something is somehow spiritual, and they want to find out how to open their third eye. Well, then you first have to go through all the other chakras before you get there, because you have to become psychologically aware. So I could get into a bunch of other things. So that's the chakra system and the Kundalini system. And then we have the system that is connected to Chi, or life force energy. And that, unlike Kundalini, unlike the chakras, like I said, there are things you can do to stimulate and work with the chakras. Like every time I go surfing, basically surfing is being in the, what do they call that, cobra pose in yoga. I used to teach Kundalini Yoga years ago. And so that does have an effect on the heart. And I will have emotional experiences because, basically sitting, face first on a board and, arching your back like that is like being in the cobra pose. And for me, definitely it stimulates the meridians in the area of my heart. So I do have an experience. It is similar to what people are wanting to experience when they want to open their heart chakra. And I have feelings and experiences. And it will certainly aid and benefit me in becoming consciously aware of the issues that are associated with my heart. So it's not that these chakras don't get stimulated. It's just, it's not like what we're going to talk about now, which are Dantiens. So you see over to my, there it is, over to my right, which is your left, over to my right you see this picture here, which has the 3 energy centers. These are the Dantiens. Now you can see that these 3 energy centers, let's bring this up again, these 3 energy centers are superimposed to where 3 of the chakras are. The third eye, the heart, and the navel. Let me see if somebody did this right. Yeah, somebody made a solar plexus. Oh yeah, that's right, solar plexus chakra. Anyway, I get upset because sometimes people say solar plexus and they don't know the difference between navel, solar plexus, and heart. So sometimes people say solar plexus and we don't know what they're talking about. In any case, so the 3 Dantiens over there on the left, I'm looking over and I'm seeing that on my display here, the picture's getting like choppy, which annoys me again. I'm not sure if the internet here is doing its job. Okay, so over here on your left, which is my right, the Dantiens, you can see that they're superimposed on where the chakras are. But you can meditate on these. And there's a lot in Qigong, you will do this. You will do exercises and breath exercises, and you will bring Qi into those areas. And I want to be clear here because people make mistakes about this as well. So if you've ever heard of, I can't remember the name of the book, but by the way, you know, unless it's something really simple, you really shouldn't try and learn high level things from books. You shouldn't. If you want to learn a high level energy practice, find a teacher and learn from them. There was a book that went around that was called Neigong. I think it was, they just called it Neigong, Neigung, which just simply means energy work. And it was supposedly written by somebody who had trained in the Mopai tradition, which is, you know, and there's all these legends around the Mopai who have the ability to do things that look like, you know, basically Jedis, and use their chi power to knock things over and all that kind of crap. And so everybody wanted that, so they were reading this book. And I know of at least one person, two, I think one is one of my apprentices, who tried to do that, and they ended up hurting themselves. Because the assumption that they're getting from reading the book is that you're supposed to smash in as much energy as you can and hold it into your Dantien and squish it down and turn. And that's really dangerous. That's not how I was taught at all. I'm not saying that there isn't a technique for that, but you know, if I were to want to learn that, I'd go to a teacher who knew what they were doing. I wouldn't try it on my own. So when I talk about bringing energy into the Dantian, I'm not talking about smashing it into, you know, your body. That's not what I'm talking about. Talking about just simply allowing energy to flow into that. But you know, the default one is the navel center. So the navel center is, if you really want to learn Qigong, you really need to understand how to get energy flowing in the navel center. But the idea is when the energy goes into the navel center, it then flows to all of the rest of the body. So you're not trying to smash it in your navel center. You know, it's like doing let's say deadlifts or squats in the gym. Squats is a better example. Squats is a whole body exercise. And you know, it focuses on the legs, but it also does the core, it does the lower back, it does the shoulders, it does the neck, it does everything. And so it's you know, while you're doing the squats, you're not just focusing on your legs, you're also keeping your whole body aligned in posture and all that. And so when you're using the lower Dantian and you're doing energy work to bring chi or prana into the lower Dantian, the idea is to stay relaxed so that it flows through all of your body, goes into all of the meridians. Because the navel center is the hub. That's where you want all, that's why anybody who's done any of my Qigong, I teach you at the end to put your hands over your navel and to breathe long and deep and to focus on that, because the navel chakra, or excuse me, the navel Dantien will purify all that energy, and it has a little brain in there, it has a little computer, and it will send energy wherever it needs. You don't have to worry about that. Your job is to just open yourself up and to experience the energy. So, anyway, there's a general explanation on that, and we'll see if there are any questions. If you're new to the channel, what I'd like for you to do is write the word question before you ask a question. Please have a well thought out question, and please don't take it personally if I analyze your question or if I tell you, you know, put some more time and effort into watching my videos. Don't take it personally. You know, I may be wrong in my assessment of you, but this is just the way that I do things. So be respectful, and please just don't drop comments, because then I can't find people's questions. Please just let's limit this interaction to a question and answer. I appreciate your opinions. I don't need cheerleaders. I want to save space. All right. So again, I'm looking for the questions here. So far, I'm not seeing any. I don't see any. Look at this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, how many people? We got 33 people watching. So we don't have any questions right now. So what I'm going to do then, while you guys think of questions, if you have them, is I'm going to help you understand some information about Qigong. So enjoy this. Hi, I'm Michael Denny of SpiritTao.com, and this is Celestial Negung Part 1. Celestial Negung means that this is power that is descending from heaven. And the idea is that we are all microcosms of the entire universe. You are the entire universe, and everything around you is simply the projection. You are looking within yourself. So when you look up into the stars at night, you're actually looking deep within your own body. When you look at the sun, the moon, the trees, the flowers, you're looking within yourself. This is Negung. And so what we're doing is we're simply releasing that infinity from within us. You are tapping into and releasing the power that is within our own body, our own cells, our own organs. So one of the reasons that I'm making this DVD is in the hope that the essence and the spirit of the teaching of the Shang Qing arts can be taught to the world at large, and it is my hope that the core essence of what the Shang Qing tradition is will continue to live and grow and evolve. As we move on into the Aquarian age, everything is changing. I don't need to tell you that. The entire world is changing, and what we are seeing now is that if people hold on to external things, they are very challenged in life. And those who are making the transition into the next phase that we are moving into in the world as we approach 2012, those who look within and find their source of strength from within, those are the people who are getting the most out of life and will make the transition into the next phase of evolution most comfortably. It is my belief that the Shang Qing tradition is one method whereby human beings can evolve into the next level of being in the most comfortable fashion and be able to take advantage of the rapid, energetic, mental, and spiritual changes that are going on in the world today. Okay, so that's the kind of Qigong I offer. By the way, before I forget, subscribe, hit the bell button. These links are here for you. Click on them. I got an email from somebody asking me about one of my services, and I said, go to this website, and he says, no, I haven't done that yet. I wanted to know how much is it? That's what the website is for. Click on them. I put them there for a reason, so that you click on them. But if you go up here to courses.thunderwizard.com, you will see the link to Celestial Qigong. I strongly recommend it. You'll also see the link up here at neo.thunderwizard.com. So I recommend that as well. But there's plenty of Qigong on my free channel. Again, if you go on this channel and search within my channel, just type Qigong, you're going to find no shortage of videos there for you. So I do see, it looks like the internet is really having a hard time, so we'll see how long we do the live Q&As. Anyway, so let's see. If there aren't any questions, we'll just keep it a short one today, but I'll check and see if there are any. No. Oh, here we go. One question. Ghost in the Machine question. How can the thunder wheel guide us through the Dantien in context to chakra correlations? I don't know what you're asking me. I don't know what you're asking me. How can the thunder wheel guide you through the Dantien or the Dantiens. If you go and train with somebody who does any kind of Eastern energy work, they will oftentimes use the word Dantien in the singular. And that's because, as I said earlier, the navel Dantien is the one that you really need to work with. You don't need to work with the other two. You can if you want, if you've got a qualified teacher, and if your lower Dantien is empowered, because you can't hurt yourself. People try to open their upper Dantien and they don't have a strong lower Dantien, they're going to hurt themselves. So I don't know if you're asking me about that. How do you guide through the Dantien? So it's like this. In the 9 worlds, right? There are 9 worlds in the in all of the systems, including the Chinese and the Vedic. Both of them have 8 directions and the center, which is 9. They all have the 9 worlds. They talk about it in different ways, but they all have it. And so you're either talking about the energy centers, or you're talking about the 3 Dantiens. The 3 Dantiens is similar to talking about Odin, Vili, and Ve. So it's like talking about where is Odin, Vili, and Ve in the 9 worlds. See what I mean? The question doesn't make sense. Odin goes to all of the 9 worlds. So you wouldn't put Odin, Vili, and Ve in one of the worlds. So asking me how do you use the 8 directions to guide you through the Dantiens, it doesn't work like that. The Dantiens are central. It's like Odin, Vili, and Ve. So it's not like you place the upper one in the north and the bottom one. It doesn't work like that. So I hope I answered your question. Iowa X question. Is the spleen the organ that stores the chi? I was reading an old book that spoke of it. Well, all of the organs store chi. So I don't know the book that you're talking about. I don't know what it said. I'm sure that the context probably was right. The spleen doesn't store all of the chi, right? That's not what the spleen does. But it is one that does. The liver is very responsible for chi power, which is why people should not drink alcohol or do THC, because both THC and alcohol are very, very toxic and very, very damaging to the liver, both energetically and physically. And the kidneys and the adrenals are important. That's why people shouldn't drink coffee or take a lot of caffeine, because it overtaxes the adrenals, and the adrenals and the kidneys are important for chi production. So there isn't one organ that stores chi. So again, they're reading books. Again, I don't know you, Iowa X. I don't know if you have a teacher, if you've trained with a teacher in energy practices, but this is why books really. Let me give you an example what I mean by this. I got this out of a book, but there was a master and there was a student, and the master was somebody who had been in one of the Taoist temples before the World War II, before the communist takeover, and so very accomplished Taoist master, and one of his modern Western students, and they were standing on a street corner, and there was a telephone pole next to them, and the student says to the teacher that first he asks, what is the difference between yin and yang, male and female? And the master said, you can't really talk about it like that. And he said, well, please try to explain to me. So he says, okay, you see this telephone pole? That is yang. You see all the traffic going back and forth? That's yin. And the student said, that's totally opposite from what I've read in books. And he says, that's why you shouldn't be trying to get this from reading books, because you generalize it. You don't really know where it comes from. So it's, again, I don't know where you got that, what the book is, but it's better to go through a teacher and use books as supplementary things. All right. Sunshine on Sophia question. What kind of energy work do you recommend for sexual healing? It's a big question. I don't know what kind of sexual healing you need. I don't know what. I'm assuming you. Well, I don't know. I don't know if you're a man or a woman. That's. I struggle to answer that because, in order for me to know what would be best for you, I would need to talk to you. I would need to ask you a bunch of questions and find out how did you become damaged? Where did the damage come from? For instance, like for some people, abstaining from sex would be very healing. If they've got boundary issues or, they're addicted to love or whatever. But for some people, what they need to do is the opposite. They need to learn how to sexually express themselves and allow them to get pleasure that way. So, there isn't an energy work for sexual healing because I don't know what the cause is of the trauma that is being expressed through whatever the sexual problems are. See what I mean? I don't know what that is. I need far more information. This channel is not cotton candy. This is, again, it's good to have a teacher. It's good to have somebody who will give you an actual technique instead of just talk about it. So anyways, Sunshine and Sophia, I can't give you an answer because it would be too superficial and I don't have enough information to help you more with that. Bryce Gertson question, what do you think of those who claim they are from other galaxies, such as the Pleiades? What I think is that, so what? You're from Earth now. That's where you're from now. So what difference does it make that you're from the Pleiades? It's escape. It's escapism. It's escapism. I don't know what planetary system I'm from. All I know is that wherever I was from, I decided to come here. Now I'm from Earth, which means I have to deal with human Earth problems. Being a human being, which means staying in my feelings. Talking about being from the Pleiades is a way of escaping your feelings. Unless you have some very specific message that actually I can apply in my life, I think it's an escape. And I honestly don't care, where somebody's from. It doesn't mean anything to me. It doesn't make anybody any less, more or less human. We're all human. If you got a meat bag, you're a human being, and you're from Earth. What happens before or after? That is for when you're done. Ghost Machine follow-up. I confused Dantiens with the chakras of the three selves. Do I understand correctly that heart is Midgard, navel is Muspelheim, and third eye is Svartalfheim? So you've been going through the, let me see, I've got a DVD up here at courses.thunderwizard.com called the Anglo-Saxon Shamanism, the Spell of the Nine Knots. And I teach you how to go in all of the 9 directions and open the 9 energy gates. So we need to talk now about a third system. So there are 3 systems at least. There's the chakra system. The chakras are associated with the spinal column. There's 7 of them. Then there is the Dantiens, which are the 3 energy centers. And then there's the meridian points. And there are 9 meridian points. So the 9 meridian points are associated with the 9 worlds. That is in my books, and it's on my channel. So you can answer that question if you go and research the books. If you go and do the Spell of the 9 Knots, you will find out where all of those are and which world they're associated with. Okay? So I don't know why you're asking the question. It sounds like you're already familiar, and it sounds like you already have the answer. Okay, so Dantiens are the 3 energy collection points. The chakras are the projection of the Kundalini out of the spinal column, which are associated with your psychological awareness. The meridian points are points on the front and the back of the body, which correspond with 9 places. There's the top of the head, there's the third eye, There is the mouth, there's the throat, there's the heart, the solar plexus, the navel, the sexual, and then the root. I don't know, I think I got all 9 of them there. But those are the 9 energy points. There's technically 9 chakras which are associated with that, but that's another subject. Just stick with the 7. So there's meridian points, and the meridian points are on the front and on the back, and they're not different. They're just they anyway. Energy points, the meridian points, the collection centers, which are the Dantiens, and then there's the Kundalini projection centers, which are the chakras. Okay. Paracelsus. All right, so Iowa X, I don't know anything about Paracelsus. Welcome to my channel. I don't know if you're new to my channel or not. I don't talk about things I don't know anything about, and I don't talk about teachers I don't know anything about. So, I appreciate the question. You can ask whatever question you want, but you're going to be better served by asking me about what I teach. Asking me about another system or another teacher. At some point I will get offended if you keep doing that, because it tells me you're not paying attention to me. You're just wanting to talk, and you're just whoever's on YouTube, and I'll ask him, I'll ask her. I try not to get offended because people are just doing what they're doing. But anyway, I don't know anything about Paracelsus. All right, what else we got here? Matt Matterson, question: do you have any general advice on dealing with people in your family responsible for unconscious blockages and childhood trauma while undertaking this path? Well, what I do want to do is address the assumptions in your question. Remember that everything is assumption. Everything. No matter what it is that you believe. And so people will tell me what their assumptions are in their questions, which is why I like for people to ask questions, because then what I really want to do is I want to help you address your assumptions, because your assumptions dictate your life. And if you have incorrect or limited assumptions, then you're going to have an incorrect or limited experience in life. Your assumption is that the people in your family are responsible for your unconscious blockages, and that's not accurate. They did whatever they did. I'm not trying to defend their consciousness or their actions, but you chose to respond in whatever way you responded. So, for instance, if somebody, let's just take let's say somebody's afraid of women because he's afraid women will always steal from them and just use you for your money. That's probably somebody who didn't get enough love and nurturing from their mother. So that happened when they were toddlers, and they got in there and they learned, in order to be safe, I have to just expect that mommy's not going to give me what I need. And so they grow up thinking that you can't trust women. And those are the people that end up becoming women abusers, and they become violent and controlling because when they were a little kid, mom was either abusive to them or didn't give them enough attention. So, but they're the one that chose to take on that belief even at 3 or 4 years of age. So I'm assuming, Matt, that you have people in your family. I don't know how old you are, but your question makes it sound like you're a little kid, like you're a teenager. Maybe you're not. So this is important to you. If you're an adult, then this tells me that you are regressed and you're still operating from that teenager perspective, who's like, gosh, mom, get out of my room, and dad, leave me alone, and why won't you guys? I know, because I was there. And I'm not minimizing it. My parents did a horrible job. So I get it. But your family is not responsible for your unconscious blockages. You are. You made whatever decision you made. My brother grew up in the same house as me, and last I heard, he was homeless. That's how he chose to respond to the same problems and blockages and whatever from our parents. We both had the same parents. I obviously made different choices than he did. He is where he is, I am where I am. You go on to say childhood trauma. So advice on dealing with the people responsible for childhood trauma. So I don't know what you want from me in terms of dealing with them. Again, do you live with your parents? If so, then my suggestion would be, as soon as you get old enough, get the hell out and get your own place. That way you don't have to deal with them. If they are really that destructive to you, then you don't need them in your life. So, do you want them in your life? Most people do. You probably do. Then that means you're going to learn how to forgive them, accept them exactly as they are, and get rid of this idea that they did it to you. They probably did, but so what? That's not going to help you. Go and watch the video I just made on victimhood is an addiction. The victim mentality is an addiction. So you don't have to deal with them. You know, one of the most interesting and amusing things I see on YouTube is all these videos about how to deal with narcissists. And there will be videos about how to shut down a narcissist or how to win an argument with a narcissist. And, you know, and the video will talk about the narcissist this and the narcissist that. And so when they say this, you have to do this. And I'm like, holy crap. A narcissist can't be dealt with. You can't reason with them. They're broken. So don't deal with them. The answer to how to avoid a narcissist, how to beat a narcissist, is to not let them be in your life. So if you're choosing to allow the people in your family in your life, then you have to accept that they're broken in whatever way that they're broken. And you have to accept that your choice is to either have them in your life or not. And if you want them in your life, then stop playing the game of being the victim and, get some therapy. I mean, if it's that bad, if you're asking me general advice on how to deal with the people who have caused you all of this trauma and damage, go get some counseling. Go see a psychologist. That's what they're there for. And put some time and effort into healing and resolving where you're at so you don't make the same mistakes that they do and you don't have to live out their garbage. I've been in some kind of self-help or counseling since I was 18. So that's a long time. All right. So I hope I answered your question. Amy Luann, question. Is there a way for me to get notifications for your live Q&A videos ahead of time? The only way to get notifications ahead of time is for me to plan it out, and I usually don't. So I plan on changing that. We'll see. The best I can tell you is, hit the bell button. That'll notify you. And if I have notifications, I'll let you know. Okay? Marion Eisenberg, question. What would you say the spiritual cause of kidney stones would be? My father has dealt with them more than half of his life. For half of his life? Holy shit. I had a kidney stone once. And I never do things half-assed. It was so big, I had to get surgery. They had to climb up my urethra with this little thing that opened up and chopped up the thing and took it. I mean, I almost died. It was a big deal. It was one of the worst experiences of my life. That only happened once. And that's because I was working 2 jobs. I had a theater company where I was acting. I was writing for the main stage. I was teaching. I was auditioning. And I was full of rage because I wanted to prove to my dad. I was trying to become a movie star so I could prove to my dad that I was something because they, whatever my issue was with them that they hadn't done right for me. I was going to prove to them that I was something. And I was full of rage. I was drinking only coffee and soda. And I ended up in the hospital with a kidney stone. And I was also really, really worried about money. I was constantly, I was constantly worried about money. And so I associated the worry about money with my kidney stone. And as I was lying in that hospital bed with tubes coming out of, big giant tubes coming out of tiny little holes, use your imagination, and I was in so much pain, I said, I'm never going to worry about money again. And I made the decision, as I remember, staring up at the ceiling of that hospital room, making a list that whenever I started to worry about money, I would ask myself, how many? 3 or 4 questions. Do I have food in the refrigerator? Do I have a roof over my head? Do I have a place to sleep tonight? And if I answered yes to all of those questions, then I wasn't going to worry about money ever again. Now, I didn't do that perfectly, but I've kind of lived like that. I do my best never to worry about money because it's just a waste of time. So he may be, I don't know, stressed out about money. He's probably full of rage and feeling powerless. And he's probably not getting enough liquids, because that's what did it to me. If he's doing it for half of his life, then we're talking about, he's really got, just from a shamanic perspective, I'm not talking about a medical perspective, he's got some pretty serious issues. Yeah, I can tell that the internet is just not cutting it. Anyway, so hopefully by the time I get to Australia, this problem won't be here anymore. Very frustrating. My internet should work. I shouldn't have to worry about it. I should be able to come on and stream whenever I want and not have to worry about the internet working. All right, let's see here. Omar Alexander, please write the word question, so I know you're asking a question. Again, people, I don't need responses. I don't need comments. Every time I have to scroll through somebody's comment or whatever, even if it's a nice one, I run the risk of missing a question. So Omar, if you have a question, write the word question, otherwise I'll miss it. What do you think about developing one's etheric field aura through Qigong? I don't know what you want me to say. I obviously believe in it because if you go up here, you will find numerous links to Qigong. If you go in my channel and search for Qigong on my channel, you will see a lot of Qigong exercises. So obviously I think it's something. Click on my videos to watch it. I don't know what you want me to say. It's a very general question. Am I aware of the alleged benefit that Qigong? Of course I am. It absolutely has an effect on the aura. All right. Nothing else? No other questions? No other questions? Let's watch this again, shall we? Hi, I'm Michael Denny of SpiritTao.com. And this is Celestial Negung Part 1. Celestial Negung means that this is power that is descending from heaven. And the idea is that we are all microcosms of the entire universe. You are the entire universe, and everything around you is simply the projection. You are looking within yourself. So when you look up into the stars at night, you're actually looking deep within your own body. When you look at the sun, the moon, the trees, the flowers, you're looking within yourself. This is Negung. And so what we're doing is we're simply releasing that infinity from within us. You are tapping into and releasing the power that is within our own body, our own cells, our own organs. So one of the reasons that I'm making this DVD is in the hope that the essence and the spirit of the teaching of the Shang Qing arts can be taught to the world at large, and it is my hope that the core essence of what the Shang Qing tradition is will continue to live and grow and evolve. As we move on into the Aquarian age, everything is changing. I don't need to tell you that. The entire world is changing, and what we are seeing now is that if people hold on to external things, they are very challenged in life. And those who are making the transition into the next phase that we are moving into in the world as we approach 2012, those who look within and find their source of strength from within, those are the people who are getting the most out of life and will make the transition into the next phase of evolution most comfortably. It is my belief that the Shang Qing tradition is one method whereby human beings can evolve into the next level of being in the most comfortable fashion and be able to take advantage of the rapid energetic, mental, and spiritual changes that are going on in the world today. All right, so that should answer the latest question about Qigong. Obviously, I have a strong belief in it. All right, so let's see if there are any more questions. If not, I will call it an evening. Joe Connolly, question: can a damaged aura be repaired? Yes. Damaged by drugs and alcohol. How can a damaged aura be repaired? Through Qigong. Through the video I just played. Do that every day. Stop the drugs and alcohol, and that will repair your aura. Your aura is like a balloon. So, if the aura is deflated, or damaged because there isn't any energy, being put into it, then the way to fix it is to put energy into it, and it will inflate again. Cody Hill, question: can you touch on how I can use my knowledge of my Aruta to apply to my everyday life? It is Cancer in the 9th house, the healing priest. In case you're not familiar with what this person's talking about, you want to go up here to courses.thunderwizard.com and click on the astrology link, or astrology.thunderwizard.com. By the way, you can see that my website, thunderwizard.com, has a lot of sub websites, or whatever they call that. And so if you want to try, you can just type in any word, .thunderwizard.com, qigong.thunderwizard.com, astrology.thunderwizard.com, runes. You can try that. See what's out there, or you can just go to courses because they're all the links are there. So the Aruta is a term used in Vedic astrology, which has to do with the reflection of your lagna. So your lagna is your first house. In Vedic astrology, we use your rising sign as your first house. Western astrology uses your sun sign, and people say, I'm a this and I'm a that. First off, the sun sign might be wrong, because Western astrology uses the tropical zodiac, not the sidereal. The sidereal zodiac is the stars that are shining on you. So the stars are actually hitting you. 2,000 years ago, the Greeks learned astrology from the original masters in Bactria, and they focused on the sun sign. But they used the tropical zodiac, which has shifted in 2,000 years by 24 degrees. The Vedics still use sidereal astrology. There are still Western astrologers who use the sidereal zodiac, but you'll get. So anyway, point is that using the sun to say I am a so and so is not accurate, because your personality, how you interact with the world, is based on your rising sign. And please don't look at your rising sign in Western, because it'll be wrong. The rising sign is your lagna, and lagna means screwed into place. So when you were born, you were screwed into place as you are right now, and your rising sign is the glasses that you wear in order to look at your life. I am a Leo, so I look at my life through, as you can tell, I'm the king. And that's why I don't like people doing anything I find disrespectful. I just question and answer. No, just listen to me. I'm the king, clearly. That's who I am. Makes for great teachers and great leaders, not so good when I have to be cooperative, because the king doesn't cooperate with anybody. So what the hell was your question again? Your Aruda. So your Aruda is the reflection of your lagna. So, your Cancer in the 9th house, so that makes you 10, 11, 12, 1, 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7, 8. Right, so you're, am I right, you're a Scorpio? Right? I may have that wrong, I think I'm right. So if you're a Scorpio, that means that's the lens through which you look at your life and how you work through your karmas is as a Scorpio, but that's not how people see you. How people see you is as your reflection. That's called the Aruta. Everybody's Aruta is different. Even though I'm the king, my Aruta is the warrior of balance, who communicates the truth. I have Mars in the 3rd house in Libra. You have Cancer in the 9th house. So, assuming you don't have any planets there, based on what you said, you don't have any planets. So then, you know, it's hard again because you want to look at the sign aspects as well as the planetary aspects. You know, are there planets that are aspecting directly into that 9th house, and you know the sign aspects from the other signs. You have to look at all that stuff as well. But generally speaking, you know, I don't know what to tell you. When you walk in the room, people see you as a priest, and Cancer is the sign of the moon. So they see you as a very intuitive, emotional person, perhaps a very healing person. And so since that light, which is the sign of Cancer, is shining down on your 9th house, the 9th house has to do with religion, spirituality. And so when you know, technically the priest or the priestess, because it represents the temple. So when you walk in the room, what they see is this priestly person who radiates the power of the sign of Cancer, which is the aspect of the moon. Very, very nourishing, maternal, healing, emotional. So you're like the emotional healer when you walk in the room. The priest, that's how they see you. So the practical things, as I've said, when you get a reading from me or from one of my apprentices, we tell you what your Aruta is. We give you a mantra, which is, you know, the mantra for me is not the same as for you. But, you know, we tell you what it represents. You then make some decisions. You make a list. You know, you go and research what is Cancer in the 9th house. What is the 9th house in Vedic astrology? You research that, and then you realize, because when you walk in the room, people think you're a Cancer, whether they know what a Cancer is or not. They think that you are the Cancer sign. And so what you want to do is you want to find out what is Cancer. What are Cancer people like? Cancer ascendants, not sun sign, Cancer ascendants. What are Cancer ascendant people like? And, you know, that may or may not reflect how you feel about yourself. So what you do is you make a list and you write down all the things that you like about what that means, what the 9th house represents. You write down all the good things that you like about that. Then you look and see, am I portraying that? Am I portraying all the things that I like about the sign of Cancer and the 9th house? And if not, then do that. Start dressing that way. Dress like what you think a moon priest would dress like. And know that that's how people see you. Write down a second list. The second list is the things that you don't like about it. You know, and the things that either you don't relate to or you don't like or you're embarrassed by. That second list is going to tell you how you are psychologically blocking yourself. Your ego blocks are going to be in that list that you don't like. And if you really want to become successful personally and in your business, then you start to dress and present yourself in all the ways that that second list does. I'm not dressed in my uniform tonight. I've got a little bit of it on here. I've got my necklaces on, but you know, I'm the warrior of balance. So, you know, I wear sleeveless Om shirts and I wear, you know, the things and the blah, blah, blah. That's my costume because that's how people see me. They see me as this defender, this warrior who will go out and defend them and speak the truth and and make them feel safe and teach them balance and harmony. The shamanic warrior. That's how they see me. So I don't know what more to tell you. That's how you apply it. I hope I answered your question. Joe Connolly question, how can I open my chakras? So did you just come on? Because I went and talked, I did this whole earlier, and in all of my other videos, by the way. Have you watched all my other videos about chakras? Because I go out of my way to say you can't just open the chakras. You don't need to. If you want to open the chakras, you become mature. Go through all of the lessons that are associated with each of the chakras. Become comfortable and learn how to trust that the universe will provide. That will open your lower chakra. Learn how to share your creativity through connections with other people and relationships. That will open your second chakra. Learn how to have your own self-identified power and not lord it over others. Then you'll have opened the third chakra. Learn how to connect with other people without taking them hostage. That will open the fourth chakra. Learn to speak your truth without judgment. That'll open the fifth. Learn how to see the interconnections between everything. That will open the third eye. Learn how to completely disconnect from the Maya of illusion. That'll open the top one. That's how they're opened. There isn't a technique to open them. There's no benefit in trying to open one chakra over the other. So let's see. You say, to continue with your question. Scott Lombardo, please do me a favor. This is my question and answer. Please don't give advice on my channel. Okay? This is question and answer. You're giving somebody else an answer to their question. I'd prefer you didn't do that. Okay? Because I haven't screened that. And I'm responsible for the answers that come here. So I know that this is normally like a back and forth and a free-for-all. I don't want that on my channel. Okay? If you have a question for me, you can ask, but I prefer that you don't try and help other people on my channel. If you're new to my channel, forgive me. Everybody who's been here for a while knows what the protocol is. If not, welcome. So she says, how can I open my chakras? A Reiki teacher told me they are open just who cares? Reiki teachers can be, listen, I just saw somebody who practices Reiki helps heal somebody of a migraine headache. How the hell they did that, I don't know. So obviously she's doing something. My experience with Reiki is that a lot of people are very intellectualized. I would never say that to somebody. Why would you say to somebody, your chakras are open but just a little bit? So what? So now you feel there's something wrong with you because your chakras aren't open enough. I don't know who this Reiki person is. So take everything including me, take everything anybody says with a grain of salt. So the hell what? I would say that their chakras are not very open because somebody who has open chakras doesn't diminish or demean somebody like that. That puts them in a position of, I'm more evolved than you are. Even though I'm the teacher and I do all this and I have to control things, you guys are just as spiritual as I am. I hope I make that clear. I don't see myself above any of you. I might have a little more knowledge and experience than you, but that's about as good as it gets. So who cares? Just live your life and enjoy your life. You want to open your chakras, go after your soul desire, give yourself the greatest joy you can, and your chakras will open all by themselves. Let's see, I missed another question up here, did I? What is the power, Ghost in the Machine, what is the power of Aya in seed sound mantras? So seed sound mantras don't have Aya in them. Seed sound mantras are just the root, bija, the seed, the root of it. And the root seed sounds are like Om. Om, Hrim, Kling, Ain, Shrim. These are seed sounds, and at the end of them they have an NG. They're usually spelled as an M, like the OM, but they're pronounced with an NG. So any syllable with an NG on it is technically a seed sound. Aya is not a seed sound. Aya is in a mantra, Om Namah Shivaya, Shivaya. Aya means pertaining to Shiva. So it's an ending of a word. In English, we don't have it anymore. Latin has it, classical Latin, classical Greek, even Old English. The ends of words would tell you what their function in the sentence was. Now we have sentences, you know what the function of a word is based on where it's placed in a sentence. And we have still remnants of it, like if we're talking about the possessive, then this bottle of kombucha, this is Mike's. The S is genitive case, meaning it belongs to Mike. So Mike's kombucha. To him, the M sound is the accusative, meaning to that person. But before you didn't say to him, you would just say him. Him, the book has, or something like that. That's how we used to do things. So Aya is just meaning pertaining to, and it's just the ending of a word, and it's since it's Sanskrit, when you're chanting a Sanskrit mantra, there are going to be different endings on the words, depending on what the meaning of the sentence is. It might have been too big of an answer for your question. Astronomical hero. Question, how do you get over fear or limiting beliefs when creating your dreams? First off, you don't have to get over your fears. Stop trying to get over them. When you're creating your dreams, I don't know what you mean by that. If you're new to my channel, I want you to go up here to these links, especially the one about Find Your Perfect Career. Read my book, The Shamanic Secret Commandment to a Perfect Life, to understand how it works. You don't have to get over it. And I don't know what you mean by creating your dreams. Do you mean going out there and living them, or do you mean sitting on the edge of your bed and trying to create them in your mind? Because I don't recommend that. I got nothing against it. If you want to sit on the edge of your bed and imagine you creating your dream, let me get rid of the law of attraction nonsense. If you sit on the edge of your bed and imagine having your dream and feeling all happy about it, it doesn't mean it's going to come knocking on your door. It doesn't work like that. It does help, and it does create a projection, but you have to get up off your ass and go do something about it. Now the good news is that you don't have to feel any one way. You can be scared off your ass, but that's not going to prevent you from going and doing it. So you sound like the majority of people in our society who have been taught the wrong way, which again came from Christianity. But you sound to me like you've been taught, sit around, have the right feeling, create it in your mind, let it come to you. It will never happen that way. It doesn't work like that. The way it works is you listen to your heart, you listen, what is it that makes me happy? Then you start to go do it, and then you will be afraid. Everybody will go through their own resistance. If yours is fear, you will feel fear. So the fuck what? The fear isn't stopping you, just keep going after it. The way you get over your fear is by walking against it. Taking contrary action. So stop trying to get over it is the bottom line. Have your fear, just go do it. Figure out what it is you want to do and go do it regardless of how you feel. My ancestors said people who go to Valhalla are those who die in battle. It doesn't say people who aren't afraid of battle. No, it says people who die in battle, which means that maybe they were afraid, maybe they didn't. The point is they went to battle. When you go to fight for your dream with your actions, you can feel however you want to feel. You don't need to get over anything. Okay, so get the hell out of your head. It's not your fault. This is how you've been taught. Get out of your head. Just go do it. Limiting beliefs. Limiting beliefs, again, how to get over limiting beliefs. You can't get over them. And your beliefs aren't limiting. Your actions based on your beliefs is what limits you. See, again, this is the term limiting beliefs has an assumption. Well, first I have to have empowering beliefs. No, you don't. It helps. The people who take action without thinking twice about it, have a good self-image and are self-empowered, and so their feelings motivate them to action. And that's what you want. You want a feeling that will motivate you to take action. And if you don't have an empowering belief, meaning you don't feel that you believe in it, so what? Just go do it. Okay, I beat that horse to death. All right, Joe Connolly, question: how is, and she spells it E-I-W-A-Z, Awaj. Now, there are two runes that are spelled very differently, but are totally different pronunciations. There is the El-Haj rune, which is also called the Algiz rune, but I prefer El-Haj because El-Haj is elk. El-Haj, elk. The AZ is the nominative ending, elk, the elk rune. Now the elk rune is not pronounced, actually there's three. There's El-Haj, Ehwaj, and Yuhwaj. You're talking about Yuhwaj. El-Haj is just the Z sound, zh. The Ehwaj, E-H-W-A-Z, which is the horse rune, Equus in Latin, Ehwaj, means a horse, and that is the eh sound. The Yuhwaj, which is spelled E-I-W-A-Z, is because we in English do not have a letter for the sound U. Not U or O or E, but U. In Greek, the Y sound is that. Whenever you see a Greek word with Y, the Y was originally pronounced U. So the U sound is the Yuhwaj rune, the one that looks like a hook that goes up and down and up like that. The U tree. That's why the tree is called a U tree, because in our pronunciation we don't have the U sound. It used to be U. So it's pronounced Yuhwaj. To make it easier, just pronounce it like the tree, Yuhwaj. Dean Nevins, question: how does drawing runes differ from chanting them? Well, one you're chanting them, and one you're drawing them. Well, when you're chanting them, you're using sound, and sound vibrations affect your aura. They affect your mindset. There are three ways to chant anything. There's chanting it out loud. There is whispering it, which actually there's a technique. It's not whispering. That's not it. There's a way which I teach, which is the Hool breath. I teach you how to do that. The 5 element sounds, I teach you how to do that. Breaths. And then I teach you how to do it in the books. So again, go up here and read the books. Not necessarily you, Dean, but anybody watching who doesn't know, go and read the books, and I teach you how to do that. And I teach it on my videos as well. So when you draw it, you are kind of imprinting your brain visually, because your brain and your unconscious mind can be imprinted through symbol. You're also using your unconscious to project it. I give the chaos magicians a hard time because they talk about loading a symbol with their intention. But they're not completely off base about that. So when you're drawing something, especially when you're thinking about how you want to apply it, that is imprinting your unconscious, and your unconscious goes to project that power. So, there's a whole different magic about drawing runes. Truth is that I don't do a lot of that. So I can only talk so far about it. It's just not my thing. I'm a chanter. I've got Ketu in the 5th house, which means mastery of mantra. So that's why I'm so into mantra and sound, because that's something over many lifetimes apparently I've mastered. Again, if you get anybody wants to get an astrology reading, ask where your Ketu is. That will tell you what you've mastered in previous lives that you're not really aware of in this life, but that you have mastery of. I have mastery of raising children. I have no interest in it because I have Ketu in the 5th house. I have mastery of mantra and of esoteric mysticism, and I don't really think about it, which is why it's so great. People ask me a question and I'll go on for 3 hours about a subject, but I don't have the motivation to write a book about it because I don't care about it anymore. Anyway, that's about astrology. So to answer your question, the other one is really kind of about projection magic as opposed to spell magic. I hope that explains that. Omar Alexander question: what would you say to someone who struggles to forgive their parents? What do you want me to say to you? What do you want to hear that will help you forgive your parents? Look, forgiveness is a choice. How you feel about it is out of your control. Do you want me to tell you how to not be angry with them, how to not hate them, how to not be hurt? I can't help you with that. But I can tell you that you can choose to forgive them. If you're familiar with 12-step programs, there is a process which they call the fourth step, which is learning how to forgive people that have harmed you. And it's an interesting approach because what you do first is you write down who you're mad at in one column. So for you, you write down your parents. And then you write down why, in as brief as possible, because they didn't give me money, because they didn't love me, because they didn't support me, whatever it is. And then in the third column, you write down what survival instinct is stimulated by that. Fear, pride, money, sex, safety, things that have to do with your instincts for survival. And then the fourth column is your part, which is what you did to help create that. So here's the thing about resentments, because you're talking about a resentment. A resentment, the term resentment means to feel all over again, to resentare, to re-feel. So a resentment is an anger issue that doesn't go away. Somebody cuts you off on the freeway, you get pissed at them for 30 seconds or 5 minutes, depending on how scared you are, and then you forget about it. And in a couple of weeks, you'll forget that somebody almost killed you on the freeway. I mean, you almost died, but you forget about it. That's what anger is. Anger is a flash of anger that is about protecting you in the moment. Once you are safe again, the anger dissipates. A resentment is something you keep feeling over and over and over again. That fucker. Why did that guy do that? If he hadn't done that, I mean, I still do that. There are still people, I still have conversations with myself about what I should have said 30 years ago to somebody. I still do it. That's called a resentment. So if you're angry with your parents, it means you have a resentment and you don't know how to see where you helped to create that. Now you're saying to me, they're my parents. I didn't do anything. I was born. It's not my fault. I get it. But you still choose to react to everything and everybody. Here's the hard part, because when you talk like this, people want to go into denial in order to pretend to be spiritual. This is what people who talk about everything is love and light. That's basically what they do. They're in denial. And those are the people who are the most angry. Pot addicts are notorious for this. Pot addicts want to talk about how everything is mellow and cool and, hey man, I'm just into love and get your hands off my weed, you motherfucker! They will blow up in an instant because they're using their weed to stuff down all their anger. That's why they're addicted to it. THC disconnects you from your feelings. They think they're feeling all lovey and happy. What's really happening is they're being disconnected from their feelings. And so that's denial. So when I say to you that you need to acknowledge your reaction and that you're responsible for how you've chosen to react to what people have done to you, it's easy for people to go into denial and go, oh yeah, I'm not mad at them. I've given that up, when in reality they're just in denial. So again, this is why it's good to have counselors. Go get a counselor, go get a psychologist and sit down and say, I'm really mad at my parents. They really fucked me up. And talk through it with somebody. It's really important to do that. This is one of the things that I do. I'm not a counselor, I'm not a psychologist, but it's one of the things I do as a teacher and as a spiritual counselor and working with apprentices is, I walk them through that and I help them acknowledge and accept that. That was the one of the original jobs of a shaman way back when. So you can struggle with it. Don't give yourself a hard time. But, go do whatever you need to do. Go to some 12-step program, go to a psychologist, talk with me, talk with somebody, and work through it. And you don't have to get over your feelings. Again, like I was saying to somebody, how do I get over my fear? You don't worry about getting over your feelings. Focus on the actions that you can take. Focus on how you can heal from, the messages that you got from your parents about yourself and empower yourself. It might be a lifelong process. Would you encourage people to have daily routine for spiritual practices? Of course. I don't know what else to say. Yes. Yes. In terms of reprogramming the brain and the unconscious, a daily disciplined routine, whether it's a spiritual routine or anything else, is really important for helping the unconscious mind process. And, it's all about action. Action will change your chemistry. Take action sometimes completely contrary to your feelings. It will change your chemistry and it will change your unconscious. All right, so I don't need comment. I only want questions. I don't need your comments. I appreciate it. I don't need them. All right, what else? Yes, the best way to thank me, invest in yourself through one of my products. People want to send, I've got things. People have sent me paintings, as gifts, and I stopped taking gifts. People would say, can I send you a gift? And I started saying, no, if you really want to give back, then, buy something, give back financially, and I don't take donations either. And it's because I believe that you should get something for what you pay for. And, if somebody really wants to give back to me, then, invest in themselves. I'll get the money, you'll get a product. Maybe I should take donations, but I don't, because I just don't, I'm not a church. I just don't believe in that. I believe that there has to be an equal exchange. Astronomical Hero question, how often are you here and when is the next live? I am on here usually on the weekends. As you can see, the internet is struggling here. I can see, at least from what I've seen, the picture goes, it keeps stopping and starting, and I see this red button flashing, which means that the internet locally here is maxed out. So if the internet is doing well, I like to come on the weekends. I would normally come on around 6:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, but I've been playing around with the times for the reasons I just mentioned. I'm going to be moving to Australia in June for 3 months, maybe 6 months, and then I'm going to spend the summer, which would be the winter here in the north. I'm going to spend their summer in New Zealand. And so I can't give you specific times. I'm going to be seeing what my schedule is like there. So it's one of the reasons I don't give notice. But look for me on the weekends. If you have the bell button, if you click on the little bell button, you'll get notified. I think if maybe on your phone through email, I think you can work it out so that your phone will go beep, 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 and tell you that I'm on. And not that you should live to wait that I'm on. I don't need to be that important. I just can't tell you, specific times when, yet. Okay, things are kind of in flux right now. Marion Eisenberg question, is it common for people of different signs to feel more themselves during different seasons? I don't know, because that's too general of a question. Because we're more than just one sign, you have to look at your moon sign. If you're looking for feelings, you want to look for your moon sign. I was born, my moon is in Leo as well as my ascendant, but I was born during the new moon. So I get very, sometimes I get depressed during the new moon. Because when you're born during a new moon, it means that you don't feel connection to the mother, to the maternal. And it also means that you leak energy. So and when the new moon comes, I tend to feel depleted and upset, and of course, every sign has its own experience during the seasons, but it's more complicated than that. It's more than just your sign. Omar Alexander question. You described yourself as a sensitive guy. Did you find that people took advantage of you based on your kindness? So, Omar, you're not really asking me that to find out what happened to me. You're telling us how you feel about yourself. You feel that people take advantage of you based on your kindness. So there's all kinds of assumptions in there. If you feel that people are taking advantage of you from your kindness, meaning from how you give to others, get ready for this, you're not going to like it. It means you are giving selfishly. You are giving so that people will give to you. And instead of coming out and asking for what you want, you are giving things to people, trying to butter them up, hoping that they will give to you. And when they don't, you feel taken advantage of. And now I don't know exactly where you're coming from, but that's what I get from your question. So your question isn't honest, it's passive aggressive. You want to tell us how you feel, and you want me to co-sign it through, saying to you, yes, because I'm so sensitive, people, and here's what you got to do. But that's not how it works. You're needy, you're not kind. There's a difference. I can smell it. Like if I'm around somebody who is trying to kiss my ass because they're needy and they want something from me, but they're doing it by pretending to be really nice and giving, I can smell it. I can't necessarily smell that from your sentence, but it's getting in that place. Okay? So if you don't want people taking advantage of you, then stop giving to them. Why do you feel that you need to give to everybody? Who told you you had to do that? You're doing it because you feel already disempowered. You already feel depleted. You already feel unloved. And so in order to get love, you go around being kind to everybody. I could be totally wrong, but that's what I get from your question. Astronomical hero question. Why are there so many different beliefs and religions on the planet? So now we're just kind of throwing out just a bunch of general questions. Who cares? Who cares? Astronomical hero, I don't know if you're new to my channel. Watch my videos. See, I told you at some point I would have this. I'm trying to be more accepting of the new people and the general questions, but at some point you're just pulling questions out of nowhere, and it's not coming from a deep desire to learn anything. Who cares why there's so many beliefs? I don't care. Question is, what do you believe about yourself? And that, for me, is what works for you. You want to know what my belief is? My belief is whatever works. My religion, whatever works. If it doesn't work, I will tear it to shreds. Not because I want to exclude other people's beliefs or religions, but because I'm interested in beliefs that actually have a practical value and work to make us happy. And those that do, I syncretize them. So I have a syncretized belief system of multiple religions and beliefs and sciences. And the ones that I think are really destructive, which primarily are the Abrahamic religions, I destroy them because I think they are destructive, and to analyze them and understand why they're destructive will bring healing, which will make me happier because there will be more happy people in the world. Okay? All right, so I don't see any more questions, so that's it. All right, so what I would like for you to do again, subscribe, click the bell button, go to courses.thunderwizard.com to see all of the things that I offer. I offer so many different services and books. Read my books, go onto Amazon or go to the link and find all my books on Amazon. All of my practices. By the way, there are DVDs out there. Type in, I don't know if dvds.thunderwizard.com is there or videos.thunderwizard.com. Somebody asked about opening the chakras. I have a very old DVD that's about 10 years old, teaching a powerful mantra and yoga and breathing exercise, which is supposed to open up the chakras, chanting the Gayatri mantra. Go on to there. Neo.thunderwizard.com. If you want the 4 tools, again, you're going to hear me say it in every video. Sorry, people need to hear things, I think, 20 times before they take action on it. Neo.thunderwizard.com, the 4 tools that you need to get the most out of my teaching, as well as, I think, to get the most out of your life. First one is you need to know what your destination is, which is your soul desire. You have been born. Your soul came here with a desire to achieve something, to experience something. The way you know that you're connected to that is the thought of it brings great joy to you. And so if you follow that joy, you will be living your true purpose, and of course you will be happy. Now you have to know what that is. That's what I call your career. So the find your perfect career isn't about how to find a perfect job necessarily. It is how to know what your true soul desire is and to get the universe to pay you money to be your authentic self. That to me is a career. That's step 1. Step 2, now that you know where you're going, what your destination is in the map, you need a vehicle. The vehicle is life force energy. I've already played the video for celestial Qigong. That's the power of the life force of the universe, which will propel you towards your goal. Next, you need to know what the rules of the road are. If you don't know where to drive, you're going to get a ticket, you might get in a crash, you won't get to your destination. The 5 rules to master the matrix will teach you what you can do through your actions practically, regardless of how you feel, which will get the universe to obey you, so that the universe will follow your commands. And then 4, we need to have this back and forth, which we have over on the thunderwizard.com page, where we're going to have more and more live question and answers where I will go in depth, and it'll be more in depth than how we do it here. I will ask you questions back and forth, and regardless of how deep you are into my practice, you can come and sit and listen, and it'll be like sitting in on a master class. We can't do this without helping each other. We can't. So that's the 4th step, which is over on thunderwizard.com. So those are the 4 things that, anyway, I gotta do that at least once every video. Look, I think I saw a couple more questions perhaps come up. Let me see. Dean Nevins' question, could you elaborate on how projection is different from spell magic? I don't know that there is a difference. Did I say there was a difference? If I did, I would have to hear the context of it to know what I meant by that. Projection is just that. It's what you project. Your projection largely comes from your unconscious mind, so you can't worry. You don't really know. But when you are meditating and when you are doing the intention work, where you're intending your reality, that is, you're using your third eye and your subconscious mind to project your intention onto the screen of the universe. Spell magic contains that, but you're using sound, right? If it's a mantra spell, or if it's, I call upon you so and so, and let the thing of the blah, you're using sound and words to influence reality. So projection is when you're projecting your intention, and spell magic is when you're using sound to alter the fabric of reality. And sometimes they're the same thing. In fact, I would say perhaps most or all of the time you are projecting while you're doing spell magic. I hope that answered your question. Okay, that's it. I don't see any more questions. The internet seems to be having a really hard time, so I'll give it a rest. That is all, mein friends. I will see you guys later. Bye.